The Bielderberg Group begins its annual meeting today in Dresden, Germany to discuss a range of hot-button international issues. The four-day meeting June 9 to 12 has attracted protesters, many of whom believe that the Bielderberg annual meeting serves to expand the interests and influence of international banking cartels. A number of whistleblowers reveal a very different agenda behind the Bielderberg Group, a covert global takeover spearheaded by breakaway Nazi German groups who allied themselves with extraterrestrials during the Second World War. Related history of the Bielderberg Group, founded by a Nazi and continuing the agenda of the Nazis. To begin unraveling the Bielderberg mystery, a good place to start is with the dominant belief by many current protesters and critics that the Bielderberg meeting is a forum where world policies are secretly decided and implemented. High among these policies is the creation of a one-world government and central bank dominated by corporate cartels, according to Bielderberg Group critics such as Daniel Echtelen, author of The True Story of the Bielderberg Group. The annual meeting serves the interests of an international banking cartel intent on creating a one-world government and a global central bank. To achieve these long-term goals, the Bielderberg Group meets annually to implement international policies where they secretly manipulate national politics, economics, and global events. The ultimate goals are all very worldly: a one-world government controlled by a world central bank. The international banking families would provide much of the capital for setting up the World Central Bank, thereby creating virtually unlimited wealth for future generations of international bankers. This wealth would be more than sufficient to satisfy the greed, ambitions, and political needs of international banking interests by controlling humanity. The Bielderberg Group has already become, according to Echtelen, a shadow world government. They have gathered yearly in a luxurious hotel somewhere in the world to try to decide the future of humanity. The Bielderberg Group has grown beyond its idealistic beginnings to become a shadow world government, which decides in total secrecy at annual meetings how their plans are to be carried out. They threaten to take away our right to direct our own destinies. So is Echtelen and other critics correct? Is the annual Bielderberg meeting merely a front for international banking interests that form the backbone of a shadow world government? The following story was told to me by a former hotel employee who had worked at a venue where the Bielderberg Group had met one year. This was a year where Bill Clinton was in attendance, according to this hotel staff member. I will simply refer to this person as Mr. B. Having met MRB, I found him to be very credible, and he had no reason to fabricate what follows. While at work during the Bielderberg annual meeting, MRB was instructed to deliver an important message to a specific person attending a meeting in one of the smaller meeting rooms being used by the Bielderbergers. As is now well known, it is the tradition of the Bielderbergers to hire an entire hotel for its exclusive use during an annual meeting. All hotel staff are basically there to serve the needs of Bielderberg participants during the meeting. So it was not unusual for MRB to be given such a task, which he was now responsible to complete. Initially, MRB was refused entry and was asked to hand the message over to someone else. MRB insisted that he was under strict orders to deliver the message personally. After some heated discussion, MRB was given permission to enter the meeting room. That's when things became very bizarre. Related Bielderberg Group probably backed Hillary Clinton for 2016 presidency. MRB claimed that upon entering, he saw approximately 24 people seated around a large rectangular table. They were speaking in a cacophony of sounds, none of which was intelligible. It didn't sound like any language MRB had ever heard before. MRB couldn't see any faces among those seated around the table. He could see their physical bodies in suits, etc., but the faces were hazy due to some kind of mist or fog. MRB reported that there was an intense energy field pervading the room. It was definitely very unusual and felt otherworldly to him. MRB felt resentment being projected towards him over his unwelcome presence. He was directed towards the person to whom he had to deliver the message. MRB delivered the message and promptly left the room. He was unaware of the message's contents. Soon after leaving the room, MRB experienced a massive headache, which lasted several days, and he had to take time off. Mr. B's experience suggests that there is an element within the Bielderberg Group that does have an otherworldly composition and agenda. It's very likely that MRB had viewed the Bielderberg's mysterious steering committee in session, and that the people running Bielderberg may be in touch with and or controlled by an outside otherworldly force. To understand the Bielderberg connection to an otherworldly element, we need to turn the clock back a decade earlier, to events that occurred during World War II. A former U.S. Navy intelligence and aerospace engineer, William Tompkins, has revealed that U.S. Navy spies embedded within Nazi Germany's advanced technology projects during the World War II had learned that the Nazi war effort was being assisted by extraterrestrial visitors. The spies had reported to a covert naval intelligence operation, located at Naval Air Station San Diego, that Adolf Hitler had signed a secret agreement with representatives of a reptilian extraterrestrial race. In an Exo News TV interview, Tompkins reveals how reptilian consultants were helping the Nazi SS develop advanced weapons technologies. They had, if you want to call them, consultants, who are reptilian consultants assisting on all of these different things that it takes to design and build these spacecraft carriers, and propulsion systems. So this is an extremely well-developed program and documented like crazy. Getting copies of the documents was hard for them, hard for our spies. This was an open program in the upper level of the SS. The spies learned that the goal of the reptilian plan was not only to assist the Nazis to win the war and achieve planetary conquest, but to build fleets of anti-gravity spacecraft carriers that could be used for interplanetary conquest in other star systems. Holy cats, the thing went way beyond that world conquest. Again, what we just said about this was the tip of the iceberg of what they were doing. Already reptilians were doing it to other stars, planets all over this area of the galaxy. These young kids, the operatives, they couldn't believe half of what they brought back, what was going on. But some of them were really good people, and they knew how to get into places and listen to what's going on, and finding what that guy he had talked to, or he heard, and going to so and so, because yes, they were doing that over there. Tompkins' information is startling, but it is not the first time claims have been made about Nazi Germany receiving extraterrestrial help during the war. The father of German rocket science, Hermann Oberth, said the following in response to a question about Nazi Germany's rapid technological development: "We cannot take credit for our record advancement in certain scientific fields alone. We have been helped." When asked by whom, he replied, "The peoples of other worlds." In a 1998 interview with Linda Moulton Howe, a former CIA agent, who from 1957 to 1960 was given access to highly classified briefing files, said that the documents revealed that the Nazis had indeed been helped by an extraterrestrial race in their advanced aeronautical weapons projects. When Vril was building that first craft, the Vril had one or two of the aliens that worked with them in Germany, where they fired rockets from Peenemünde. The documents I read in Washington said that's where the first Vril vehicle was made. The aliens were helpers to Germany. More recently, secret space program whistleblower Corey Goode says that from 1987 to 2007, he read intelligence briefings on smart glass pads that detailed what had happened during World War II. He describes how German secret societies were helped before and throughout World War II by a group of reptilian extraterrestrials known as Draconians, who were assisting the Germans in the development of advanced anti-gravity space battle fleets. At the same time, these German secret societies had made contact with the Draco Federation and another group that avoided the Dracos. The German occultists were very busy from the early 1900s, especially in the time just before, during and after World War I. Their major breakthroughs occurred in the late 1930s. Related Cosmic Disclosure Season 2, Episode 4 Breakaway begins, summary and analysis Corey Goode and David Wilcock. Similar to Tompkins, Goode also said that the ultimate goal of the reptilians, in helping German secret societies and the Nazi SS, was to create advanced space carrier groups that would be capable of interplanetary conquest. The eventual German Nazi space battle groups became what Goode described as the Dark Fleet. It operates outside of our solar system, and is described at length in the book, Insiders Reveal Secret Space Programs and Extraterrestrial Alliances. Related Cosmic Disclosure Season 4, Episode 6 The Dark Fleet, Summary and Analysis Corey Goode and David Wilcock. The first Bielderberg meeting was held in May 1954. The public justification was that it was held to promote political and economic cooperation between Europe and North America as the best defense to what was now perceived as the long-term threat of communism. To that end, prominent business and political leaders have been regularly invited to the Bielderberg Group meeting on an annual basis to discuss ways of coordinating national policies and anticipating global trends. The real reason for the formation of the Bielderberg Group, however, can be traced to waves of flying saucer sightings over key U.S. cities in 1952. The overflights of Washington, D.C. in the summer of 1952 were the most important because, according to independent whistleblowers, these involved Nazi flying saucers operating out of hidden bases in Antarctica. Related science confirms giant wetlands exist beneath the ice in Antarctica, a good location for ET or secret military bases? In May 2015, Good described the Nazi overflights of the U.S. Capitol in 1952 with their superior technologies, then hidden in remote Antarctic bases, and how they pressured the Truman and Eisenhower administrations into negotiating a secret agreement after the failed Operation High Jump mission. The Operation Paperclip scientists were asked to negotiate meetings. The Nazis used this to their advantage in some very public sorties over Washington, D.C. and highly secret atomic warfare bases, to mention a few. Eisenhower finally relented and signed a treaty with them. Nazi occult societies therefore infiltrated every single high-tech corporation and position of power inside the now joint breakaway civilization program. They have been involved in all Western space programs and projects ever since. Related Operation High Jump and the German UFO connection, mid-20th century secret space program history. Related Operation aka Project Paperclip, laying the foundations for the modern secret space program in the Fourth Reich. Good's controversial claims have just been corroborated by another whistleblower, Clark M.C. Cleland. In last year's August 3rd installment of his book, The Stargate Chronicles, M.C. Cleland writes the overflights of advanced very swift crafts over Washington, D.C. were these German advanced aircraft that totally outflew American advanced crafts. On July 12, 1952, President Truman observed several of the UFOs and was completely amazed by their capabilities of outmaneuvering the USAF and U.S. Navy advanced jet fighter, the F-4D USA jet sent up to bring one down. None could fly the speed of the German saucers. Similarly, William Tompkins describes in his book, Selected by Extraterrestrials, infiltration of the U.S. military-industrial complex by Nazis and their reptilian allies.